What up, Vapesters? All right, guys, so a little something different today on the agenda. I thought it was getting a little bit old doing the sneak peeks and the miscellaneous Mondays. Every Monday was something kind of like the same thing. I thought we'd try and do something different. I'm actually going to do a story time Monday for you guys today. Now, I actually tweeted a picture of my car with it covered with a little bit of snow we've been getting around here in town, just a dusting. So, since I've been driving around dealing with this little bit of snow, it actually reminded me of a time in my life, one of the worst trips I ever had, dealing with a whole lot of snow. When I was trying to go across the mountain passes, I didn't have nothing nearly as nice as this Charger with all-wheel drive I'm driving around in now. But it really ended up just about me killing everybody, myself, and all the other people on the highway that night who were unfortunate enough to be traveling the mountain passes with me. But I'm going to tell you guys all about it, so hang with me as we do a story time Monday here on Indoor Smokers. Alright guys, so I gotta set the scene for you, give you some context. So this is when I was in my early 20s, which is when we do most of our stupid shit when we're young. It's one of the reasons I really wouldn't go back to being a teenager or in that time period again when you're still learning and developing and finding out things about yourself. You just always end up having to push the envelope so much, you end up doing a lot of stupid shit, kind of testing yourself, which is necessary when you're young. You gotta find out about yourself. But man, I look back now on it and think of all that crazy stupid shit I did when I was younger and just think what a miracle it is I didn't end up having to pay a bigger price, either legally or health-wise, for some of the stupid crap I'd done. But this trip was definitely one of those things you look back on and just think, fuck, what was I thinking? So at that time I was driving around in a 69 Ford pickup, powder blue, just like this one. And I had a canopy on the back that was basically the dog house for three big ass 100-pound dogs I had, German Shepherd Black Lab mixes. So a big ass canopy looked like this from the back. That's gonna come in to be important later on in the story. So this was a Thanksgiving day. I was actually living up on property up on Badger Mountain just outside of East Wenatchee here. I had 7 acres up there. It was 2 miles from the nearest plowed road. And this just happened to be the worst, biggest snowstorm I had ever seen since I'd been living up there about a year. So it was a Thanksgiving day and I was supposed to be going over to see my family in Seattle. So for those of you who aren't familiar, we actually have a mountain pass that splits the state just about down the center. You're either a west sider or an east sider in Washington state. That's how it comes. But I actually grew up in Seattle, so I'm a west sider from way back, a city kid. But in my early 20s, I helped my mom sell our family house that we'd had since we were kids. I talked my dad into giving me the commission if I'd been able to sell it without a realtor, which we did. I used that money to buy the property, and that's how I ended up living up there on 7 acres, basically out of a big fifth wheel. So I really had no clue what the hell I was doing up there, and I got a bunch of other stories about that first winter up on Badger Mountain I can be telling about later. But all you need to know for this one is I had to hike out 2 miles with my generator, which had been giving me problems, so I was going to bring that into Seattle and have it looked at. It was a Sears Craftsman. They had a service center up in Seattle. So I'd already had to hike 2 miles pulling a generator on a sled, probably 110, 120 pounds. Pulled that thing 2 miles out to the main road, got it loaded up, and got the dogs loaded up. All 3 of them back there. We're all going over to Seattle for the holidays, so a lot of fun. Just the trip from Badger Mountain, which is about 30 miles down into Wenatchee, was a nightmare. Coming off that mountain is steep, it's windy, so the whole way is just tense, nail biting. Get into Wenatchee, start heading up towards Leavenworth. It's snowing the whole way. Man, that's always the worst, because sometimes if it doesn't snow until at least you hit the pass, you know, you don't have to deal with it that long. But when it's snowing the whole trip from here in town and then all the way up, it's just a lot of time you're going to have to just a tense, white knuckle type driving. So by the time I get to Leavenworth, literally about a foot, maybe a little bit more of just soft powder, the kind you'd love to ski in, but is terrible, a nightmare when you're driving. Of course, I have ball tires, no chains, none of that shit, completely unprepared. Head up to Tumwater, which is the windy part of the road just leaving Leavenworth, just narrow. This is Highway 2 going up Stevens Pass, not Snoqualmie Pass, which is I-90. This is a 2-lane highway, literally, winding through the tumwater the whole way, trying to stay off the guardrail, slipping, sliding, fishtailing. Snow just keeps piling up, getting worse, getting worse. I hadn't seen a snowplow, hadn't seen anything. Finally get off the tumwater to where you actually start hitting the real incline, going up on the mountain pass itself, starting to head up towards the actual summit of Stevens Pass. So by this point, I'm already crazy tense, having to maintain like 20 or 30 miles an hour, just so you got some momentum to hit the uphill part. I knew if I'd hit it going slow, there was no chance. So at 25, 30 miles an hour, hitting the uphill part, I'm making a little bit of distance, and then I can feel the tires start slipping. I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I can't even maintain at this speed, you know, just a level. I'm not even hitting the gas. So I knew, sure enough, I get a real skid, you know, the back ends up fishtailing, I come to a complete stop. And I knew I was fucked, man. 1.5 feet of snow everywhere. I haven't seen a car probably in maybe 15, 20 minutes. It's just a barren little 2-lane highway. Here I am stuck in the road. So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm gonna have to turn around. There was no way. I tried to start going. It's just sliding. There's no way I'm gonna be going forward anymore. My only hope is to get turned around and just hope gravity and my momentum can just take me back down the fucking pass. I had to give up on the whole idea of getting there for Thanksgiving dinner, any of that shit by this point. Now it's just become fucking survival. This is one of those moments when you know you got into it where you shouldn't have, and now you got no choice but to get the fuck back out. So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm gonna try and turn around. I get turned sideways as I'm starting to back up, and fuck, once I get flush, I can't go. The tire's just spinning. I'm stuck literally sideways on a 2-lane highway going, holy fuck. Car comes around that corner at this moment, they're not gonna be able to stop. So I'm just like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? So at this point, you can't even really tell if you're even on the freaking highway. The only reason I knew was because there was a big wall of snow on one side, and over that was a huge ass cliff. 20, 30 feet down. So I'm like, oh fuck, man. No room for any cars to fucking zig or zag around me. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta get, my 3 dogs are in the back, and we used to pick up these big 20-pound bags of Science Diet. If anybody shops at Petco or anything, you've seen the big ass bags. So I knew I had a bag of Science Diet back there. I would use that traditionally in replacement of like sand or something like that. You kick that shit down under the tires. Once you crush it, it'll crumble up a little bit, give you some grip, you can go. So I get out of the truck, rush back, still a blizzard coming down, 1.5 feet of snow at my feet, fucking go to open up the back of the canopy, and it's locked. And I'm like, fuck! So I run back up to the truck, and this is the moment. Sometimes in life something happens and you have that one moment of realization right when you do it, even before the consequences are felt, like when you're chopping something with a knife, and you just realize you made that mistake, and you haven't even felt the pain or seen the blood yet, and you just think, I'm fucked. Well, I reach in there, the car is still in drive, still running, sitting sideways, and I pull the keys out because that's where the key is to unlock the back. The second I pull the key out and turn the engine off, it fucking rolls. And the door is open, the driver's side door, the truck rolls right over, and that door knocks me back. Luckily I slipped because I try to push on it, you know, to hold the truck for a second like you always do. Knocks me back, I slip. The door of the truck goes right over the top of me, fucking heading for that cliff with that big snow wall. I look back for 1 second and just get a glimpse of my dogs looking out the fucking window like, what have you done? And I'm expecting that thing to hit that snow wall and just go right down that cliff, and fucking there's a generator, my 3 dogs in there. It's gonna be just fucking chaos, man. So as soon as the truck door goes over me, I'm able to spin around and see it just in time to hit that snow wall, expecting just to see it go right down over the side, and it stops. Snow flies everywhere, ba-boom! And just stops to my amazement. I'm like, what? As soon as I stand up and get over there, I realize there's a fucking guardrail there. It was just covered by the big snow mound. So I was like, oh my God, I'm saved. The fucking dogs are tripping, everyone's barking. I'm going, holy fuck, I gotta get out of here. Just at that time, I'm seeing a car coming around the corner. Luckily, there was maybe 300 yards straight away before the next corner, so I had a little bit of time. As soon as I see that truck coming around, I'm waving my arms, trying to tell him, oh, because I'm back now up against a guardrail, but still sideways on a little 2-lane highway, but there is enough room now at least because I'm on the opposite side, the oncoming traffic side, but still, if they could at least get over in the other lane, they could pass me in the opposite lane. So I'm waving my hands. First guy who gets there happens to be one of those gonna help you do what you need to do kind of guys, which was lucky, and he had a chain. So he gets out and he's like, what's going on? I get in my truck, I'm like, man, I was trying to turn around, I got stuck. He's like, I'll help you, you know, we'll get you pulled out. So he gets his chain hooked on. I get it in drive, and we're pulling and peeling and spinning, and there ain't no fucking way we can get off. Can't figure out what it is for a second. Quickly realize my back bumper has gotten up over the fucking guardrail, and now I am literally locked on the guardrail, facing sideways on a fucking 2-lane highway on a mountain pass in a fucking blizzard, man. And the guy trying to pull me on that chain is like, oh shit, man. Literally, while he's trying to pull me, the chain in front, his truck to my truck, another car comes around the corner. Waving, he's got to unhook that chain, get his fucking truck out of the way as quick as he can so we can wave him down. We get another guy pulling over. Fuck, maybe ended up with 2 or 3 people trying to pull over and help. They're all fucked. We got 2, 3 chains of trucks, literally one in front of another, chained up, trying to fucking yank me at angles, see if we can get me off of there, having to unhook every once in a while and pull out and wave people around as they're going. It's a fucking nightmare, literally. And we cannot get this truck off that fucking guardrail. It's just stuck, man. That thing has hopped over it and is now just lodged on there. So everybody's like, this isn't gonna end good, man. What the fuck are we gonna do? Just then, a snowplow starts coming up the other way. And the guy says, man, if the only hope, basically, these guys gotta have something, man. They have like a tool or something they can use in there. Tries to flag the guy down, and they're even like, usually these guys won't do it. It's like the policy, whatever, Washington State, because of liability and stuff. They're not supposed to help guys, you know, pull out of ditches or do anything. But he flags him down, gets the guy out of his snowplow, and luckily, because of the dire fucking consequences of the situation, he realized we needed to break protocol and basically help us out. And fuck, he had like an 8-foot metal pipe. And I'll never forget, that motherfucker comes over with the pole, all up in his fucking Washington State, you know, highway patrol fucking garb and everything. Takes a look at that with the pole, and before he gets a chance to hook it on there and look, he's like, someone's gonna die! And I just heard that. I've never heard anybody say those words. God, man, it set like the hairs on the back of your neck up, and you were like, somebody is gonna fucking die, man. I want it to be me. Took every effort just to hang in there and not like try to just run from the situation at that point. But that motherfucker pops it underneath, truck's in front pulling, I'm in gear, pop, pop, and one big ass crack, and he manages to fucking wedge that thing off of there. Everybody gets unhooked. I'm like, thank you, thank you. Everybody's like, just get the fuck out, go. So fuck, I get back in my truck, come back down the fucking mountain, man. It's still sketchy. It's still fucking just barely staying on the road. But like I thought, I got gravity now working towards me, a little momentum. Come all the way down into Leavenworth. Fuck, finally get to level ground. So between Leavenworth and Wenatchee, just fucking managed to coast in, depressed. I got like $1 to my name, dude. I had nothing. I was planning on getting over the mountain, just had money for gas. Was gonna have Thanksgiving, everything with the family. You know, my mom kicked me down 40, 50 bucks. Oh, here you go, grab yourself something. Be Starbucks, it'll be food, it'll be everything. It's all gone, man. Now it's just me, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock by now. Thanksgiving night, nobody anywhere. Little Conoco store in Wenatchee open. So I pull up in there. Fuck, man, I got like $1. I get a corn dog with some mustard. And they had single cigarettes at that time. You can't buy them anymore, but at the time you could buy single cigarettes. And man, I really thought about stealing one of those motherfuckers, you know? I'm like, fuck, it's just a single. I need a cigarette so fucking bad. But, you know, it's the little things. That's the problem. It's like I may sell my soul for something one day, but it ain't gonna be for no fucking 99 cents, you know? So I couldn't bring myself to do it. I took my corn dog, went out to my truck, started eating it. Sad as can be, man. Just the fucking worst Thanksgiving ever, man. And then I remember I had a buddy in town who lived in his truck in a storage unit for years. Man, this guy was like an icon in this town. Fucking just crazy extreme athlete. Skiing, kayaking, mountain biking, especially rock climbing. Man, that motherfucker was crazy on the side of a sheer fucking cliff face. But anyways, I knew he'd been up to his family's that day to fucking see him, but he had a falling out years ago with his fucking family, his mom and his stepdad. So I was like, man, they're probably not going to let his ass stay the night there. He had dinner and shit, but I saw the Conoco right across from it. There's a park and ride. There was a couple of park and rides, one at the north end, one at the south end of town. He would stay at those a lot. Sometimes he would just stay at his storage unit, have the truck parked there. But by chance, I just get out of my truck after I eat my corn dog and shit and take a look up there, and wouldn't you know it, There's Pat's fucking truck up at the parking ride, the only one in there covered with like fucking 4 inches of snow on top by now, so he's been up there for at least an hour, and I can see a little light glowing. He would burn sternos, because we work banquets at the Red Lion here, and he would take the little sternos that you use on banquets to keep the food warm, and then he would burn those in his, you know, for light and a little bit of heat and whatnot. Fuck, those were the days, man, in the lap of luxury. But anyways, man, I fucking walk up there, one other sad motherfucker out there in that blizzard on Thanksgiving Day, and like they say, misery loves company, so I knock on his fucking truck window. He's like, what the fuck? I thought you were going to Seattle. I was like, man, I never made it. You got any cigarettes? Sure enough, he'd picked up a pack of cigarettes, fucking gave me like a handful of them. I was like, thank you, man. Fucking gave me a bowl. I ain't ashamed to say it. Hell yeah, I went and smoked a bowl, and that was before legalization. So in the end of the day, you know, I survived. I had a bowl, some cigarettes. I'd eaten a corn dog. Probably had been there 8 hours. Still the best tasting corn dog I ever had in my fucking life. So at the end of the day, I had to say, man, I was like, fuck it. I'm here, but I got me a fucking bowl. I got a cigarette. I just had a corn dog. What the hell you gonna do? That's life, man. It's a good night at the end of the day. Or a good day at the end of the night. I'm not sure which. But that was literally just one of dozens of crazy ass stories like that I had from when I lived up on that property and hung out with a bunch of group of just crazy ass motherfuckers over here. That was when I really came to fall in love with the area, the freedom that being out here like this, especially up there on just acreages of your own property, do whatever the fuck you want. You really get that sense of freedom, come to know yourself, come to find yourself. My whole belief up there was, because I grew up in the city, you're always trying to find some kind of peace or harmony in life, you know, where you fit into the whole fucking universal constant type of a thing. But I always thought, if the whole city is man-made, everything's covered in concrete, how are you going to find a center when the whole thing may be askew and off-center, you know? Maybe the center don't even exist in the city. But up there in nature on top of the mountain, where at least a piece of property I bought, there wasn't even a fucking fire pit anybody had put up there. It was the way it had been for centuries or millennia. I figured out there, at least if there is a God, he created that, then I should be able to find some center, some peace, whatever you want to find, some universal constant out there. And hell yeah, I feel like I found it. Found a lot of things up there, especially found out a lot of things about myself. Which at the end of the day is what's most important about those types of journeys, you know? The ones you might never take again, but you would never give them up for anything. All right, guys, I hope you like this Storytime Monday. If you did, let me know. I got a lot of other stories about living up off the grid. Like I said, I was a city kid, moved up on a mountain, lived up over 4,000 feet for 2 years of my 20s. Then again, after college, I moved back up there with my wife at the time, Kelly. You guys have met her on the channel. And we lived up there for another 5 years. Same thing, 2 miles off the nearest plowed road, taking a snowmobile or pulling a sled. When the snowmobile wasn't working, you do what you got to do out there, man. But all right, guys, hope your Monday is going well. If you guys are interested in what I was vaping during this video, I have my Nebula mod with the Smoke Brit mini tank on there. I love the way this thing vapes. And then don't forget to subscribe, like, especially if you like this kind of storytime video, so I can tell it was popular. And then give me some ideas down below, some other shite you want to hear me talk about. But have a great rest of your vaping day, and I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow. Catch you then. Bam.